Hello. So your season's coming to an end, and you want to know what you can do to get ready to move into the next season. All right, so let's jump into a few things you need to do. So if you're like me and you have all your securement things here full, supposedly it's okay to leave your deviations in them. You'll still get them. I wouldn't risk it. I would put them in a container. So just pull them all out, put them in your backpack. All right, that way you can pull them on the next server. I definitely wouldn't leave them in these. And if you have some, for whatever reason, if you're using a friend's base and you have securement silos at your friend's base with deviations in them, you need to remove them for sure. Those will not go back with you. Next up is go into your inventory and make sure you've opened all your boxes. You don't want to lose any of these, right? These may transfer, but why risk it? Just go ahead and open them. All right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, for transferring, we're going to be given points to transfer our stuff over to a new server. We're going to be giving 20,000 points, and that's it. All right, everything has a cost. The points don't come back. We don't build up more. That's all we get. All right, so if you didn't know, once you have stuff in Eternal Land, you can send to Season Server for points. All right, so when you go to a new server, this will be 20,000 or 20,000, and we'll show you that here later in the video. And we'll show you kind of how much stuff is worth. All right, but just so you know, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about transfer points. As I said earlier with the deviations, if they're in their glass boxes, they're probably okay. But pull them out just to be safe. Put them in your inventory. Okay. And then all your items, if you have anything crafting that you want to bring with you, make sure to pull it out of the crafting device and put it in a box. Right? Anything in the boxes will transfer over. Anything on crafting benches may or may not, depending on how that information gets handled. If it's on a crafting station. So, pull it out your crafting stations, put it in a box. Pretty simple. And just to confirm what I think about the crafting stations, such as furnaces and stoves and things like that, I'm going to leave some stuff on here and see if it transfers, right? So I'll drop all of my smelted steel, except for what's on the stove, and see if it transfers. Trying to think of anything unique. Oh yeah, bone-in deviated sausage. I've never made this before, so you know what? We'll craft 3 of these up and leave it on the stove, and we'll see if it comes over. Alright, so something else to notate. When pulling your deviations out of your securement units, you only have X number of spots in your inventory, right? We can only put so much stuff in our inventory. Pay very close attention to this, because if this happens to you, you will lose deviations. Because I don't think your mail is going to transfer over, but it might. Your mail might not be linked to server, it might be linked to your character. But check it out. Backpack full. So my deviations were all sent. The ones I was pulling out of my units were all mailed to me. Alright, so we don't want to lose those necessarily. So I'm going to go ahead and do some space and then pull those off. And I may just pick one of those deviations just to test and see if the mail comes over, because if it does, that might be a trick to getting free deviations. Which I'm sure they will patch right away if we figure that out. So, let's do some testing. Okay, so we're just going to test out with 2. We're going to try a mushroom guy, and we're going to try the electric eel and see what happens, see if they move over in this way. So right now we'll go over the things that transfer with you, just in case you don't know. Right, so your Star Crown transfers with you, but your Energy Link does not. So we'll go over what to do about Energy Link, because it's going to be turned into Astral Sand if you leave your server. Alright, so once you've left your server, this becomes Astral Sand, and you lose it. Okay, you get to, supposedly you get to keep your Sproutlets, we'll see about that. Alright, and you get to keep your Stellar Pioneer. But anything that says season exclusive goes away, such as these Frontier Passes. Items that will transfer over at a cost are going to be things that they didn't tell us about. Are going to be the Eclipse Cortex. We're going to be able to transfer this for a cost, right? These are really expensive to transfer, so they may not be worth doing. And our controllers. We didn't think we were going to be able to transfer controllers, so everyone was trying to burn through these and just to get the mods instead of taking the controllers with them. So if you haven't been able to burn through all your controllers, that's okay. You can bring these over at a, I think it's like 20 a piece. We'll see. We'll go into the pricing later. So once we see the points, we'll kind of see what the important things are to bring over, but calibrations are probably going to be the big one. Oh, one thing I should have mentioned earlier is your shop currencies, of course. These are separate from your character, really. They're just kind of account currencies. So these will come with you as well. Alright, so if you have cosmetic tokens, you have, you know, crystagens, you have keys, you have marks, things like that, they should all come with you. Oh, another question you may be having about if when it comes to mods on what transfers, all your mods transfer, okay, and so do your weapon and mod parts. So if you've been trying to put these into mods or whatever so that you can bring them over with you, don't worry about it. These come over. Okay, so another important thing to note is we just go to, when you hit escape and you go into this screen, right, go up here, click on that, we'll go over to season goals, click on season shop. All right, our Starcrom crates have unlocked, all right, now that we're in the final phase. Okay, now we can spend our energy links on Starcrom. Instead of losing our energy links to dust, we can now turn them into Starcrom instead. For me personally, I prefer that. If you don't have enough, of course, you can take all of your consumables and sell them. And we'll show you that in just a moment. All right, well, I missed how much this first one cost. But it looks like you need about 380, 390,000. So we're going to have plenty of energy links left over. So we'll go ahead and purchase these. All right, well, let's say for whatever reason you don't have enough energy links left to buy your Starcrom crates, but you want some. That's okay. You can go into almost any town and find the general dealer. All right, in at the end game, Blackfell, the end game town here, Lacey is going to be the one to talk to. So we'll talk to her. I'm going to a shop, and as you can see, we have a sell option. All right, we can sell materials. Okay, so we can sell steel, plastics. So all your materials that you have for crafting, you can sell here for energy link. All right, as you can see, it's not worth a lot of energy link, but it is worth some. All right, so we could sell these and get an energy link for it if we needed some more energy link. Right, and of course, almost every consumable item sells for energy links. Now, let's say, for instance, cooked meat sells for 10. Or sorry, raw meat sells for 10. Right, it's the same thing here. Yeah, it looks like all raw meat sells for 10. But cooked meat sells for 15. So if you have the time to cook it, you could get a slightly better deal. So we could sell all of our stuff for energy links here. All right, so let's get our weapons and everything ready to transfer over, right? Weapons are expensive to transfer. It's probably easier just to make a new one once you're there rather than transferring, but that's up to you. They're going to take out one weapon's going to take out most of your points, which we'll show you. We'll leave our weapon together for that, but they did say that our accessories will transfer over, so optics, tactics, magazine, muzzles, and all that kind of stuff will transfer over with us, kind of like blueprints. So let's unequip them. All right, so we can hit U to unequip all and make sure all of these are off the guns. That way, if you don't bring the gun over, you don't lose out on these. Now, maybe the devs already have code in place that will unequip these for you and put them in your transfer. So don't take any chances, right? So let's just remove all of our accessories off our guns. And while we're at it, let's remove our mods as well, just to be safe. We don't want to. Now, the mods do show up in your inventory as equipped under mods list, so that may not be an issue, but let's not take chances, okay? And we'll actually run a test on that. Okay, so I only have one green crit boost violent, so I'm going to put that on this gun. So this is the gun I'm going to use as our experiment here, and we'll see if we still have the mod when we transfer over, or if it stayed with the gun. All right, for testing purposes, just so we can confirm whether or not you need to clear these out like I've been suggesting, because it's always better to be on the safe side, but just in case something happens, you know. I only have 2 of these guys, but they're not very good. All right, so I'm going to leave one of them in here and see if we end up with 2. If we do, then we know the securement silos let us transfer, or isolated securement units, sorry, not silos. Let us transfer them over. If you want to know how it looks to join a new server and how the pricing works to move everything over to the new server, make sure to check out the video linked here. And make sure to check out the server video as well. That'll teach you what the difference between the servers are, how to choose one, and whether you want to go on energy or shrapnel server. So don't miss out on, so make sure you don't miss out on either of these videos. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Have an awesome day.